Hello again. Something of a scandal is now being revealed in this country, although really it only confirms what many of us have long known and a lot of other people have strongly suspected. This is that both employment and promotion in large publicly funded bodies such as the health service and police are dependent less upon merit than they are upon skin colour. This is shocking enough in itself, but even now the true nature of what has been going on has not been spoken of openly. So far, the conversation is all about ethnic minorities, or the so-called global majority, being favoured when it comes to recruitment. These vague terms are deliberately used for a reason. Ethnic minorities? Does this mean that doctors from an Indian background need help to get jobs as doctors or to progress up the career ladder in the NHS? Seriously, does anybody really imagine that those from Gujarati Hindu backgrounds need any special consideration? What about Jews? People of Chinese heritage? These are all ethnic minorities, but they need no special measures to help them to get on. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item about this emerging scandal, is the only word for it. The truth is, whenever you hear the phrase ethnic minorities in the context of giving people an extra advantage when it comes to employment, the reference is really just to black people, not Indians, Chinese, or any other ethnic minority. There are plenty of Indian surgeons in the NHS, but you'll have to look very hard indeed to find a black one. The clue to what has actually been going on in the police and health service is provided by the fact that the Rooney Rule is now being openly spoken about. For those who have never heard of the Rooney Rule, it's an imported idea from America, where it was devised solely and specifically as something which concerned black people or African Americans. The National Football League in America ensures that black people are helped towards important roles such as head coaches and so on by making it a fixed and immutable rule that when people are being interviewed for such posts, there must always be black candidates, not just white people. There's strong pressure, too, to select such candidates for the senior positions. This is what both the police in this country and the National Health Service have now admitted to doing. Yes. Well, what's wrong with such a policy, you ask? Well, I know little of American football, but I do know that as far as Britain is concerned, looking now at university degrees in general and medical schools in particular, that black people lag behind other ethnicities when it comes to their final examinations. In other words, although heroic efforts are made to ensure that black students can get into Russell Group universities and attend medical school, the results are generally poorer than white and Indian students at the end of the course. There's no secret about this. In March 2021, the Office for Students, the government watchdog, whose role is to protect the interests of university students in Britain, issued a statement in which regret was expressed for the attainment gap in the outcome for those graduating from the nation's universities. The data show that in the year 2019 to 2020, black students were less likely than white students to gain a first or upper second class degree at 96 of the 97 universities and colleges considered in the analysis. At some of these, the gap in attainment was more than 20 percentage points. Chris Millwood, who was the Director for Fair Access and Participation at the Office for Students, said, "While there is evidence that the gap in attainment for black students compared to their white peers is closing, it remains far too high. At 96 of the 97 higher education providers, black students' attainment is lower than we see for white students. Obviously, if black students are lagging behind at university, then it must be the fault of those pesky racists up to their usual tricks." I give references to this in the description to this video. That this is also happening in medical schools is evident, and I give a link to some letters written to the British Medical Journal on this subject. The problem here is not ethnic minorities in a general way, but is limited to black students. The only way to fix this disparity is, of course, to disguise what is happening by making sure that such failing students are given jobs in prestigious hospitals and promoted to senior positions regardless of their competence. I will leave it to viewers to decide how wise this practice is in the National Health Service. We can certainly debate what causes the widespread inability of black people to get good degrees at university, including in medicine, but that this is the case is indisputable. The remedy of fudging results and promoting lacklustre and mediocre students simply because of the colour of their skin does not strike me as being either desirable or wise.